Hey, what's good, YouTube? Welcome back to the Brown Gent. It's been quite a bit of time since I've done an AMA. Quite frankly, nothing really changed from the last time that I made the video. So if you did follow the plan, you should be doing quite well. With that being said, as always, nothing I say here is financial advice. The market is all about playing probabilities. So at the end of the day, all you can do is put yourself in the best position to win or to have more positive outcomes than negative outcomes. And obviously, if you have proper risk management and you are disciplined, you should be doing well overall. Now, that being said, there's been a lot that's going on that people are talking about. We're going to get into it. But as always, please feel free to put any questions you have in the chat. As long as you're respectful, I will definitely check it out. Now, if you like these kind of videos, hit the like button, share the video, subscribe to the channel. I've also got some paid services linked down below if you want access to me and you want to make sure that you have a curated plan. Check out the private video call. If you want to just know exactly what's going on, you have questions, you want to reach out to me, best way to get in touch with me. And I also do a lot of updates in there as well as a private, typically weekly live stream. So the market has dumped. I believe we were around 88,000 near the end of last week. I hope you guys are not seeing this as the end to crypto. As I was saying to you, for the last few weeks, we're near a bottoming process. That being said, we will never know what the bottom is until it's happened, right? That's the reality of it. We only know it's a bottom when we look back in time, if we look through hindsight. But there should also be a understanding of what your risks are and the asymmetry of your bets. Like when Bitcoin was at 100,000, it was way better to be selling than buying. And I think that was pretty obvious, right? We look at the RSI, there's a ton of things that indicate that, right? This is actually why I was selling my Bitcoin at 93,000. I felt like we were close to topping. But I did buy altcoins, so it didn't really work out the way I wanted to. Then Ethereum, you guys remember the Ethereum chart about 2 months ago now, like the start of February when we had this nuke, right? Remember this, we went from 3,300 all the way to 2,150 in the course of like 48 hours. And I remember, this was a liquidation wick. And I remember, first I let the private group, the Web3 Secret Society, know exactly what I was doing, de-risking my ETH up here, sold out an average of 2,800. And then you heard like Eric Trump telling people to buy here and everything, right? Feels like so long ago, right? Like crypto is like, I've been watching Interstellar. I love that movie. And it really does remind me of that planet where like every I think it's like every hour here is like 7 years, right? It's like, God, this literally feels that way. Like feels like time has slowed down. But after we had this consolidation process, then we had the move that I thought was going to happen, right? I remember like, I haven't touched these arrows, right? There was an arrow from here going up, and then there was arrows going here, right? From 2,800, this range, to this range here, 2,100. And then I said, we can do one of two things. If this is strong enough to hold, we bounce up. If otherwise this goes down. Now, a lot of people on Twitter and, even in my private group, were disputing this, saying, no, we don't have to fill the full candle, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, we don't have to. But once again, we are going to bet on probabilities. And, I had bet, 60% that we go up this way, 40% we go down. That gave me the capital I needed to be able to buy the dip here. I'm still buying the dip. And recently we had this jump from 1,800 to 21, rejection, and heading back down, back to this level. Obviously, we do not want to go too much lower, below like 1,540. Just think about this for Ethereum. Look at how few people would be in profit. I've showed this on a previous AMA. Just look at how few people are in profit right now. You had to have bought in 2023 to be in profit now on Ethereum, right? Like, unless you bought like here. And if you did, you're basically even. Very few people are in the green. And we need a further nuke to get that final capitulation, right? People are still holding on. They're holding on with their fingers. We got to like pull their fingers off so they fall, right? This market, this has been one of the toughest cycles I've ever been through. And let me tell you something, a lot of people assume crypto is super easy, but crypto is highly volatile. And you know what the reality is? Because it's highly volatile, if you've got the stomach to handle the drawdowns in assets that are actually good, be very clear here, good assets. People will use the same logic on trash, right? Like Hex and whatever. But if you have a real good asset like Bitcoin and ETH, right? Like fundamental assets in this space, if you can stomach the volatility, you will earn and you deserve the rewards. It may age you like 100 years, physically, emotionally, whatever it may be. But at the end of the day, when you come out of the tunnel, this is what we're looking for. Now, if you did de-risk with me up here at 2,800, congratulations, you saved yourself a ton of money. And, you know, like I said, I was buying in around here, around 2,100, and I've been buying here now. In fact, I put in a sort of buy order and sort of let the private group know exactly what I've been doing and buying. So does this mean you need to go crazy with altcoins yet? No. I keep saying this. I've been saying this for the last 2 months, and people still were like, no, brown jet, whatever. And altcoins have done so much worse, right? Like we saw virtuals go from $3 to $2.50, and people were like, I'm going to buy the dip here. I'm like, don't buy the dip. And then we down to 50 cents. Now, what is it, like 60 cents? Like, I'm still not buying virtuals. Like, this thing can go down another 90%. Ethereum can. Ethereum won't, in my opinion, right? Now, if we take a look at the fear and greed, just take a look. One of the things that you should like instinctively know is at green times, this is the time when everyone's asking you about crypto, right? Just think about it. This is when all your friends and family are like, oh, you know, I know I said I didn't want to touch crypto, but, you know, how do I get into it? Blah, blah, blah. Same thing over here. Then when you're down here and you've got like, you know, the extreme fear, which was what we had mid-March, like 2 weeks ago. And then now we're like still at very, you know, peak fear. These are the better times to purchase. And once again, purchase good assets. Everything I'm telling you is not to purchase junk. That's a complete waste of your money, and you can actually end up getting sidelined if you do this. What you want to do, technically, right, is you want to buy the assets that have the lowest risk, right? Because this is at the sort of most speculative time, or the most like pivotal time. Whereas the times to buy the most speculative assets are when these are already like priced in. When ETH is sitting at 6,000 or 7,000, then you can buy your shitcoin. But why would you want to do that when ETH is at 1,800, when Sol's at 120, when Bitcoin is at 82K, right? When Sonic is at 50 cents, right? Like when XRP is at $2.15. There are just way better buys in the market. And even still, Bitcoin and ETH are my priority buys. I have bought some others, obviously link down below if you want to see more details about that and sort of get my alerts. But that's just the reality of it. And we look at cryptos, right? Like, obviously this is not great. Like Ethereum is down 46% this year. Sol's down 35%. Dogecoin 46, BNB 14. XRP is actually up, right? This is the last 90 days, right? Which is technically the full year, the first quarter. But a lot of these tokens have really sold off. So this is why it's so important. Now take a look at Bitcoin. This is something, I don't know if we showed this chart in the last AMA, but I know I do regular office hours with my private group, and I drew this for them. I basically said, look, here is the deviation, right? So this is where we came down, right? We didn't close the wick, right? So we look at the body, and basically we sort of respected this range of 78K. Even though we came down, we didn't close within it. And I said, okay, now that we're coming up, what's going to happen is we have this trend line here, right? This trend line for Bitcoin. So likely going to respect that. But one of the things you have to consider is we can come out above it, deviate, right? Because remember, what you have to remember is everyone, you know, if people who know TA are playing this way, then they're going to put their stop losses up here at 89K for their shorts, right? If you break it, right? and they're going to put their stop losses for their longs below this 81450. So what does the market makers do? They send it higher and lower than the stop to liquidate people before they send. So this is why I said, like, if you are going to have a short, because I had Bitcoin puts, right? Be prepared to allow for some level of deviation, which is why I said, okay, I think it was on March 24th that when we did the office hours, I'm like, we can go up and then come down versus just coming down. And it happened right away. And I have liquidated my my puts now, all in profit. So that was fantastic. But this is why I tell you guys, and by the way, you don't want to sort of leave puts running forever because they try to chop it and reduce volatility. But what's happening? Well, Bitcoin is coming back down here. Could we see 78K? Yeah. Could we see even lower? Yes, we can. We could see down here, right? Any lower than that, and pretty much the cycle should technically be over. So we don't want to see a candle close below this, right? We've been in a downtrend since January. So what does that mean? Well, these are times where you can go, near the bottom of ranges, you can go long with invalidation below the level, right? So you can go long. If it breaks down below, you cut it and then do the same thing, right? This allows you to minimize your losses because a lot of people don't have good risk management. This is obviously if you're doing like perpetuals, leverage, whatever, right? But if you're just doing spot, look, one of the beauties about buying Bitcoin is it doesn't matter if this cycle ends up being over, right? Like obviously we want to buy as much Bitcoin as we can, but at some point this Bitcoin will be a 7-figure asset, right? That's just reality, right? So your plan B is not the worst, right? Even though plan B is very low likelihood, plan B still isn't that bad. You just have to be okay holding it for an X period of time if that happens. Now, obviously, there are some other events going on with global tariffs and stuff. But here's the thing. None of us are experts on tariffs. Just like no one was an expert on the strategic reserve. How many people were talking about strategic reserve and ETFs and everything being huge inflows and huge catalysts? And if you don't do it, you don't understand. And now they're like, listen, tariffs are going out. This is going to go to zero. The same people who, 5 days ago, Anson came out and said, after this big green candle on the 23rd, he's like, oh, by the way, guys, I went long last night. And then what? On the 24th, yo, guys, over here, yeah, guys, I sold the day after, like these influencers are a bunch of liars, and I don't believe a word Anson says. Take a look at Sol even, right? Like Sol actually is great. So I was in a VC call where somebody made a very good point, which is basically that if you look at the Sol monthly chart, it has basically stayed consistent. Like literally the bottom has been 125 literally every single month. Like obviously, like there's candles to it, but we have some body closes here, whereas you see the body close on the upside to be kind of increasing, right? So this actually is somewhat bullish for Sol. Here's what I think is going to happen though. So let me just show you. So I think in April we're going to have, so we go here, we likely will go like this, and then we'll come down to probably like here. But what I think will happen after the fact, I'm just going to go draw a box. How to do this? Stupid thing. So basically, I think we'll come back down here, but I think that what we will do is we will probably candle close here though. Like we'll probably candle close here. So that I can't draw the whole thing. Oh, yeah. So basically what I think is going to happen is you're going to have like this candle is not going to actually stay there, right? Like it's going to stay, but the body will be contained within this range. That's what I think will happen. And then I think the month after we'll likely have like a candle like this. What the hell's going on? No, the magnet mode's not even on. Yeah. Does that make sense? So we'll have something like this. Now, obviously, does it have to happen here? No. And people usually say like sell-in may go away, right? So It could be longer, but once again, this is why I recommend spot, not leverage. Only do leverage when you have a massive edge, and otherwise you can do spot if you're okay holding. And this is why I say buy assets that people will not be playing greater fool's theory on. And that's why ETH and Bitcoin or Bitcoin and ETH are the best, and then Solana is probably like third in that case, right? There's also XRP, which is also a very strong token. It's done very, very well. Okay, I've talked for about 20 minutes. Let's see who's in the chat. What's going on? Hi, Fud Zero. Good morning. How's it going, BG? Hey, Metro. How are you doing? A discussion warranted around TGE trashing. What TGE trashing are you referring to? Like, I know prompt airdrop is kind of delayed by 2 weeks because they want to do it right, which is cool. I think abstract is kind of like, I'm going to be making a video on that soon, showing how to farm it. I think you might as well do it, right? What other TGEs? Like Milky Way just announced Hyperlane is likely, in 2 days we're going to find registration. I'm not too upset about any of these, to be honest. Like, I think Corn was not very good, but I mean, it is what it is. There's just too many of them. And I think that there's a lot of people out there are, how to put this? A lot of people out there are just not interested in airdrop farming. So I made a video on on-chain DeFi activities. I think that is likely a good place to go. Hopefully we'll see something for Linea soon too. That would be nice. I would love to get a nice Linea stimulus because hopefully my Linea airdrop is 5 figures, but you never know. Hey, Snagadelic, how are you doing? Metro, ETH goes down. I've been buying it. Cool. Yeah, I bought some ETH today at 1812. What is ETH right now? 1812 or what did I buy it for? 1808. Let's see what I bought it for. Let me just check. Yeah, like 1810. Yeah, exactly. ETH goes down. I've been buying it, so yeah, it's not bad. You want to buy Sol by being hesitant. Yeah, like here's the thing, right? So you can't really go wrong buying Sol in this area. But what I'm saying is give yourself the opportunity to buy if it goes down to 97, right? Like between 97 to 100, because it can likely wick down and come back up, right? I don't think so. Like Sol was the outperformer of the cycle, right? Like it led the market, right? And like you just look at that return, right? So I don't think it's dead by any means. And like every time Sol nukes, everyone seems to think it's over, right? Like how many times does Sol come back here? Like this has just been the level, okay? So going back to the monthly, like this area is not bad to buy. 126 is not the worst place you can buy, okay? You can obviously wait, you can be more greedy, but don't be too greedy. If you already have some positions installed, then you have no reason to just go nuts. It's up to you. Good day, DC. Hey, Jay Mars, how are you doing? Sean Shepard, next weekend might be a good time to start DCing back into alts. You've got to be very careful. Like the alts I'm looking at are very different than most. Like I said, I'm looking at high strength altcoins, right? I don't think Stewie is that anymore, but I think Sonic is. Anon is. Fartcoin is one on Sol. There's a couple of those kind of tokens, but even still, I would prioritize the majors because while the majors won't give you the biggest return, they're the safest. And right now, when we're at pivotal areas, safety is the most important thing, right? Also, buying ETH and Sol at these levels, definitely I don't want to say generational bottoms, but they're not bad. Am I farming Ink, Superposition, or Sonium? No. I did make a video on Sonium. I'm not touching Ink or Superposition. There's just too many things going on. I'm focusing a lot on the Sol airdrops, especially the ones that are liquidity based. I'm also focusing on a plethora of perpetual dexes. So Backpack, Desk, Paradesk, Ethereum. There's so many. It's hard to remember all of them, right? Like Drift and whatever, even Hyperliquid, like season 2. Also, there's the Hyperliquid issue that happened last week was kind of annoying, right? With the whole I don't know how people keep getting to deposit collateral. Like you can withdraw your collateral while in trade. They should just stop allowing that. So that is something. Obviously, like I want to keep buying some of the token, but I'm being a little greedy on that one because obviously ETH and Bitcoin are way more secure. TG trash in general, heat on chains. Yeah. TBG tape. Ride or die at this point, can't sell spot. Yeah, completely agree, Mike. Here's what I would say to that, though. Obviously, you could have de-risked earlier in February when we discussed. Obviously, there's a risk in doing that, right? And I felt it too. When I was selling some of my ETH, I was like, oh God, I really can't let ETH go up. I don't want ETH to go up. Every time ETH would go to 29 or 3,000, I'm like, don't you dare. Don't you dare get up there, ETH. And then thankfully, ETH does what it does best, which is, completely devastate and destroy people. So, but obviously at these levels, like this is where you average down, right? Or you stand pat, one of the two. Airdrop farming seems to have gone off chain with Discord roles. I hate Discord grinding. Yeah, me too. I connected my wallet to Guild earlier to get like some of the, it's called Somia or something, their chain. Somnia, like if you have some NFTs, you can like get some roll. Here's the thing, Kaito continues to be kind of bumped up in terms of like what people care about for the airdrops. So like for corn, even though I put a couple $1,000 in corn in the form of ETH for a few months, the zero there, and then I got like 1,900 or 1,200, whatever the same allocation they gave everyone who had a Kaito Genesis NFT. I got that. Now, if I had stakes in Kaito, I would have got even more because I had the holder badge, right? But I didn't want to hold the token, and the token completely dumped, so I'm happy that happened. But I would definitely focus on Kaito. Kaito is massive, right? Hey, I don't know how to say that name. It's almost like Bruno. We'll just call you BB. Hey, bro, cheers to all the work you put out. Much appreciated. I'm going to be able to put money in the market late next week or early the one after. I plan on getting sold on Aptos. I would not touch Aptos. Like, Aptos is just too far out. Like, it's just not a useful or good chain. I personally would have look away from high risk altcoins, right? Sol's not bad. I'd obviously prefer Bitcoin and ETH, right? But Sol's not bad either. I think you can't go wrong with those three. Like, I'd rather you buy Sol now in the 125s, which has been a massive support, as you can see here. Obviously, we probably went down to 97 at some point, but that's like what, 25%? So it's whatever, right? I personally think that's way better than Aptos. I wouldn't touch Aptos the 10-foot pole right now. Not financial advice. Do I think we late for it? No, I don't think so. Like, I think we're bottoming, right? So I don't think that like you have to rush. I just think you need to, kind of wait. Okay. And I'm going to see this comment here and answer right now because I understand you're seeing on-chain metrics because you see growth. You can see that for so many chains. The price action is going to lag. Wait until that's a little more secure and get your returns on Sol while you wait. That's what I would do. I just think the fail rate is way too high at this point for you to go for Aptos with this money. It'd be different if we were in a bull market that was like standard where everything would go up, but now you need to actually have it put up. Otherwise, no. L3 snapshots tomorrow. Have you been farming it? No, I don't touch it anymore. I'm not touching it. Just like no point. Like, I minted so many cubes and got like $20 for it. Like, it was just worth my time last time. You know what I mean? If L3 did something else, sure. The only time I touch L3 is to farm something, Like if I'm farming something else, do this transaction for optimism. Hopefully the optimism airdrop comes soon, as well as the layer 0 airdrop, right? All different things to farm. Thanks for your input. Yeah, not a problem. Remember, liquidity-based ones and perp dexes pay out very well. Only a few of them haven't. There was a really shitty one. I forget what the thing is called, but whatever. I forget what it was called, but whatever it was really bad. It was like kind of like medieval time sort of related. I forget. Hard to predict, but do you think we get another drop April 2nd? I think it's already priced in. Like Trump made some announcements on tariffs for April 2nd, and also like the market gets spooked, right? And by the way, I think we saw crypto kind of puke because of the like equity markets. So we'll see what happens tomorrow with how the equity markets are doing. That's it. Orderly. Garbage. Absolute garbage. And LogX is trash too. Orderly was that shit one. Any thoughts on getting in Sui or Walrus? Well, Walrus is done. Like I wouldn't touch that anymore. That's just a pure dump. There's some people I'm in some groups with who are like, oh, I'm going to stack this thing. I'm like, if you want the exit liquidity, go for it. In terms of like Sui and stuff, Sui's okay. I would rather just be in Sonic right now. That's just me though. Especially right before the airdrop. It's gonna happen in June, right? So April because of the on-chain. Oh, we already went over this. Can close just not below 73K. Yeah, so it's fine. Like, a lot of people are like, oh, Bitcoin 50K, but they don't understand what it means to like the structure. So like, I'm not too worried about it. Like I said, I had Bitcoin puts. And by the way, just so you guys know, remember, we do not just go straight down. There's like dead cat bounces every time, right? So you go down a level, you bounce like half a level. You go down a level, bounce half a level. So you'll have opportunities to either exit out or sell what you're buying on the dip. This is exactly what I'm doing. So I bought a bunch of ETH tonight, or I guess earlier today, not tonight, but I bought it like 10 hours ago or 8 hours ago. And basically it was like 1810, right in that area. And if it goes to 2000 on the bounce, I'm selling all of it, right? That's just what it is. Like otherwise I'm okay holding on to it and DCing even more because we're going to see this continuous like bounce all the way down, right? Obviously we have some levels we have to respect, but I'm not too worried about it right now. Remember who was telling you about this whole ETH move before it happened? Remember, that was literally like early February when we had this conversation, right? So like, just remember that. Obviously the month, oh my God, this is such a disgusting chart. Look at this. What a pile of shit. But yeah. God. I know people were like, oh, there's no way we come back down here. Thank you for sharing your thoughts on it. Yeah, not a problem, BB. Hey, good to see you. Hope you're doing well. What do I think of multiverse? I don't even know what that is. Multiverse XGLD? What is that? Can't even find it on Google. No idea. My thing is, like, if that's a startup, just be very careful because there's a lot of rug pulls going on now. Remember, when there's a plethora of rug pulls that happen when price action sucks because people who've lost a bunch of money can't make money, right? So I don't know anything about this project, but just keep that in mind. I have a completely different sentiment. If money was plentiful, everything's everywhere, there's less rugs then. Do you think the Sonic airdrop will be bad for its price action? Nope, I do not. I also saw like a lot of like, if you've used Sonic, you see that it's such an incredible, chain. I thought it was gonna be a piece of crap, to be honest, but it's super fast. Reminds me of Sol, to be honest, and it's EVM compatible, right? Like the fact that I can do this and make it so intertwined with whatever I'm doing already. Whereas when I use Sui, right, it's a completely different thing. Okay, oh, I gotta open Suat, and it's not as like, it may be fast, but it's not as nice, right? So I actually do prefer Sonic, and I find a lot of people saying the same stuff. EGLD, why does that sound familiar? EGLD crypto. Electronic gold. Huh. This thing. Market cap is $500 million. Let's see what this looks like. I've definitely heard about this. Yeah, I wouldn't touch this right now. I'd have to look into more, obviously, see like who holds the tokens and stuff. But this is not a good chart, right? Like this launched like less than a month ago, and you can just see like what's happened, right? You have the exit pump and the woo, right? Like over here, like this can go down even a bunch more. There's a lot of tokens like this, right? There's like a token that you know, a lot of other people are talking about called Kita, right? That's another one that like, you know, I'm interested in. If you watch my wallet, my bank wallet, you've probably seen me purchase this and flip it. This is a much smaller market cap, but you see this is just a way better chart. Remember, one of the things you have to remember, right, is when you have a chart like this, it's hard to have people who are bag holders. Like the bag holders for this chart are like right here, right? Like this stupid box. These are the bag holders. So what happens when the price goes up? The bag holders want to sell and get out. Look over here. Everyone is a bag holder if they paid for this token. Okay? I personally don't like it. There's a lot of sell pressure. They've got to come across a lot. I've got to see this show some strength before I'd be interested. Obviously, I don't have any more context for it. Yeah. Elrond's rebranded Metaverse. Okay, cool. Yeah, awesome. I hope that sort of makes sense. One of the things I always do, and you know, I gave this sort of explanation for DeFi Kingdoms before, is a lot of people are like, oh yeah, you know, the chart's going to do so well, it's going to go up. No. Every time your chart, you have demand, you have to think about who is your incremental buyer or who is going to be selling the token and bringing the buy pressure down. Well, it's people who feel like they made a mistake buying this. Like somebody who bought here is 100% wanting to exit, right? So this is the thing. You got this many bag holders, right? Not as bad. This one is not bad, right? Like this chart. But you just look at a chart like this. Look at a chart like this and you're like, literally everybody is down. Who's up? I'm saying? NW. I only got 30 SOL available. Worth getting into fragment? Yeah, I think so. Like it's very underutilized. I think I put like 60 or 70 SOL into it 3 or 4 days ago. And I'm like, you know, ranked 2000 or something. And like I keep gaining like 600, 700 ranks a day. Like I personally think it's worth it. You can use, I made a video NW into fragmetric, and you can use the fragmetric LP. You get frag SOL and then you put it into the Exponent Finance LP. I think it's worthwhile. Obviously, I put my money into it. Not financial advice. Up to you to do whatever you want to do. I do have a referral code. Would appreciate if you used it if you are going for it. I just think, you know, unless you're going to do something else with your SOL, like the other options are going into communal finance, farming season 3, which will never end apparently. I don't know what's going on. Like when is season 3 ending? And then there's also like Kairos, which is another protocol that, you know, I have joined as well, which I think is good. Or you can put your money in Drift, right? Like if you want to farm a perp dex, you can get DSOL and you earn, what the stupid thing's called? It might just be Drift token, I don't know. But fuel token, you're a fuel token, and then you can use that as collateral to make trades and whatever, right? Like you can make perp trades, so it's good. All right, guys, it's probably going to be a very quick AMA. I hope you enjoyed today's video. As always, hit the like button, share the video. I'll be back later this week with some more videos, and let me know. You know, we'll definitely be happy to support you guys. Okay. Last things here. Any news on Linea? Nothing yet. We're gonna wait. honestly don't know what the hell's going on with them. These guys will literally hold everyone hostage. Season 3 reward after margin 5. So never. Perfect. All right. Thanks a lot, guys. Have a good night. And until next time, I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.